as hard as it was to concentrate, to put your mind out of grief and into, what it required to finish a film, it was the idea that my grandfather always said, you finish what you start. So it was, in a way, I almost finished this film for him, because I owed it to him, I owed it to myself, I owed it to the people involved and everything, to see it through. And it was very, very difficult for me to do it when I was going through personal things of my own, to be able to get out of that mental space and into the seat of a director.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Film Goes podcast. Salud.
Salud.
And today, I guess we're drinking.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So,
it's a celebration of life.
Today, I'm with the one and only Lluvia Giacoman.
Hi.
And, Lluvia, you've been here before a long time ago, my other spot.
Yeah.
When I first started.
Yes.
And at that time, we were filming our film. And you're an actress, singer, dancer.
Still all those things.
Still, yeah. And then now, you've added writer, director, producer.
Singer, songwriter.
Well, you already had that. That's what I'm saying. Now you added writer, producer, director.
Added a few more credits.
So so I wanted you to come back and talk about your experience as doing your first short film by yourself and how it went.
Oh well, that was
while we drink.
This is yes.
I haven't slept, but fuck it.
Hey, this will make you sleep better. So,
All right.
Honestly, that was it was an unexpected thing to do. As you know, I love being in front of the camera, but as I evolved as an actress and I learned way more of this craft, and even through my classes with a great, great teacher named Ray, I started to notice that it's probably part of my nature to control a lot, but my imagination runs wild and free. So I started realizing that I had a vision, if you will, as far as the type of shots and directing. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing until my teacher brought it up to me. He said, your mind is more of a director. I think you need to be directing. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. This was maybe a year ago or more. And then fast forward to some time ago where had a friend from California who we were kind of just chatting about ideas of potentially collabing and the storyline of something cool like vampires and something we were into at the time. And it came about where the opportunity to come shoot something in Vegas. So he and his friend, Sonny, and himself, Ashish, who also played the lead actor in the film, both came to Vegas to shoot the film. And it wasn't a script. It wasn't like I wrote it and, okay, here you go. You do the whole 9 yards of shooting a short film. Mm-hmm. This was more of a passion, experimental project, if you will, because we kind of came about with the idea of it was almost a mixture of my mind and his, of his story, things he was going through, and the way that my mind works, and trying to inspire, trying to help. And we kind of were playing around with different concepts of what would work. And I remember that my mom always asked me, why are you always getting killed in films? And I don't like to see that. And I was like, I don't know. So I was wanting to do something with romance. I literally said, the next film I do is going to be something with romance, right? I don't know why. I just put myself out there. So when this kind of idea came about of maybe shooting something, it was how it started with the okay, then maybe it'll be like a dream, but what kind of dream? And anyway, so that's how that story came about. And me being here in Vegas, I was I scouted the area, and I thought, okay, it's gonna be something simple, something quick, nothing too crazy, because again, there's no script, it's all in my head. So they both trusted me to just come through with, and I even rented a car too, because I had a vision of I need this specific shot, and I wanted it to be with a convertible. So I rented a convertible, and I had the best time in my life. It was the weekend, because I only needed it for a day or two, but I kept it for the whole week because I had a lot of fun with that. Anyway, so with that being said, it was a good experience because all I needed to do was tell them, because I also acted in it, was okay, I just need these kind of shots, and maybe directed him a little bit. Okay, give me a little bit more of this, more of that, while I was in and out of the camera. And so the shooting itself, the most complications that we had was maybe losing the lighting, the focusing, as I think it was like an autofocus, and we were just trying to, you know, because we lost the light, we were trying to make sure that the lighting wasn't too dark for the scene. It's just different things. But we shot it over a period of 2 afternoons, Saturday and Sunday, and then that was literally it. It was B-roll, so no audio, nothing like that, and it turned out really good, better than I expected. You have a specific idea in your head, and you don't know how it's going to turn out until you're actually doing it, and you're seeing how it looks, what kind of, scenes you're getting and stuff, and it just kind of starts forming. And I think it's really beautiful. It's nothing I had ever experienced before. Yeah. So I really do have a passion for that. And my kudos and hats off to you directors and everybody else who's a filmmaker and directing, because it's not easy. I was freaking...
And you were acting.
And I was acting. But
it's difficult.
If it was a bigger, longer film, I think it would have... With dialogue, I would have probably ended up feeling like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm wearing too many hats. But a lot of people don't do it, and they have done it and will continue to do it. So, I'm no different. Maybe one day I will be able to surrender that kind of control to be like, okay, somebody else, do this for me or that. But I think I mentioned to you the other day that one of the things that I learned directing was how much control you want to have. And part of being a director, even with my first film that I just shot, that I learned was that you have to trust that you hire the right people, the skillful people, to bring your vision to life the way you see it, because it's your film, you're directing it. And that is the most important thing I think that I'm learning from this, because I didn't learn that when I was shooting the film. I learned it in post-production with you, right? So I think that was my biggest lesson learned, but it is also a big, big blessing, because I'm super proud. It's a microfilm, and it's called Flower of Hope. And it's not out yet. It's circulating festivals right now. And we'll see how it does. But even if it doesn't, get very far, I'm really, really highly proud of this project and all the hard work and dedication that went into it. And he edited it for me, so thank you for...
Of course,
He understands my madness, and he was very patient with me.
Yeah, very controlling. That's good.
He's not lying, though. He's not lying. I was literally here. I was like, no, I need you to put this millisecond further and this way, like that, and like, no, this... But, I really appreciate to have somebody as talented as you and skillful to be able to understand that even before I finished my sentence, you knew exactly what I was asking you to do, because you edit and you're a director yourself.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to being able to surrender this type of control.
Yeah.
And that's, as a person like me, it's hard for me to do. But I will definitely learn from my next project to do things a little different. This one was just like, it just fell in my lap and it happened, and I loved it. Great experience. And it's almost like a little test, warm up type of project.
Like dipping your feet in the pool.
Yeah, see how that works. Should I direct a little more? Should I post, maybe hold off a little bit more on it? And I have ideas of that specific subject. But right now for Flower of Hope, it's completed, and it's going to be public soon.
Cool. So like... tell us what the story's about, like as much as you could tell us. Even though it's like a micro short, there's still a story there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the synopsis is, it's about a man who has lost all hope in life, and he's ready to just give up and throw it all away. And he has an encounter with a woman, and this encounter with this woman reminds him that there's still a lot of left to live. There's still a lot of life and hope and beautiful things to live for. And it happens in the span of a night. and it's I guess the art is seeing how he was hopeless at first, and then at the end he has hope back. Now I like to leave it open for audience's interpretation because like I said, there's no audio, but we did add a voiceover. My friend Justin Contorno, shout out to Justin, who did it very last minute. I wrote a voiceover in collaboration with Ashish Williams, who was the lead actor. Gave me some ideas with the poem he wrote, and I kind of took a little bit of that poem and I kind of wrote some stuff based on what the I shouldn't say script, the story asked for. And he when I placed that over, it kind of all came together. And then I reached out to Davide Perico, shout out to Davide, who is a composer in Italy that I met through Fran and doing another film. And he did an original music,
Soundtrack,
a song
yeah.
score, for it. And I think all put together is just sounds very beautiful, very soft. And it is a really big representation of me because I love classical music. It's just my go-to. So everything just kind of has me in that film everywhere. And I really enjoyed it. And I completely forgot what was your question.
No, you answered it about just like telling us what it was about without spoiling it.
Yes.
But yeah.
Leaving it open for audience's interpretation is I asked them, like, what do you think it was about? What do you think was the message here? And I find it interesting, the responses, because I've only shown it to, a few close friends and family members, and they give me different answers. And I like seeing that.
Yeah.
What do they think about it? What do you get out of it? And then later on I tell them what it was about.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not too descriptive. It's more of a concept, experimental type narrative, so people can get whatever they get out of it.
What was the hardest part of making your own film?
The hardest part, I feel, was, again, post-production. Perhaps when I make an actual script and I do everything properly with a big cast and crew and whatnot, my difficulties will differ. But for this one in particular, the most difficult was more like the post-production. Speaking solely of what I needed to do the film, it was probably just the timing. The timing and the scenes itself. Some of them were not in focus like I thought it was, so I had to dissect, like I said, millisecond by millisecond of, okay, this part works, we could add it here. So it was more of the timing that it required to do something like that.
Yeah.
And as you know, we sat here for hours, and I wanted to meet a deadline to submit it to Nevada Women's Festival. So I was concerned with that pressure.
Yeah.
And there was another reason why it took a while to produce. I'm sorry, not produce. Finish the post-production. After we shot it, which was done around I want to say end of August, is when I actually shot the film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then nothing really happened for a while. I did reach out to a different editor and just kind of putting it out there. Okay, who do I seek for the rest of the post-production? But nothing really had happened for no particular reason. And then when I was going to get on the just to make sure I got it done and finished before November, if not by latest December, my grandfather passed away. So that obviously took a backseat because I had to, deal with that loss. But what did end up happening is, as hard as it was to concentrate, to put your mind out of grief and into, what it required to finish a film, it was the idea that my grandfather always said, you finish what you start. So it was, in a way, I almost finished this film for him. Because I owed it to him, I owed it to myself, I owed it to people involved and everything to see it through, and it was very, very difficult for me to do it when I was going through personal things of my own, to be able to get out of that mental space and into the seat of a director or professional, whatever it required to do.
Yeah.
So that was the reason that the post-production took longer than expected. But overall, it came out the way it needed to come out, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, yeah, that's true. I think even if you prepare, there's
Yeah.
always something that comes up that like you're like, oh, this next project's gonna be better because I already know, and then something else comes up.
Yeah, that you don't
So, like,
expect.
yeah, you don't
New
expect
difficulties.
it. There's always new things that like prevent you from finishing your project, but you know, at least you finished it.
Yeah.
And like you're able to get it done. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, at some point I was honestly thinking, like, you know, in your dark times or whatever, like, is there even a point in finishing this, or like, will I even finish this? Can I even finish this? For multiple reasons. But again, I pushed through it for myself, for my grandfather, which is the dedication that I did put at the very end, for the people that we lost. And it could be, for me, it's what it means for my grandfather. For somebody else, it could be they lost the love of their life, or somebody, you know, lost them to suicide. I don't know, whatever that dedication means to somebody else. But it was for that.
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of like what you said with the interpretation thing. Like for you, it means one thing, but like hope is such a like a, you know, broad word.
Yeah.
That it can mean anything for anyone.
And it was initially going to be named Hope, just Hope. And Corey Lee, who was the first editor I reached out to, kind of, you know, gave me the idea to, because he named it as a file as Flower of Hope. And I was like, Flower of Hope, Flower of Hope. And I remember I did like a little poll at work, and I was asking, like, people was like, what do you think when you hear Flower of Hope? Would you watch a film called Flower of Hope? You know, I was like wanting, because they're younger girls too. Some of them were young. It's very different. So I asked different people, and whether it was Hope or Flower of Hope, and I got mixed answers. But at the end, I thought about it. I slept on it, and I was like just weighing, and I was like, you know what? There's a lot of films called Hope out there, and they're really great films. But I don't think there was one called Flower of Hope. And some people say, oh, well, it's too corny, or, oh, you know, but it's like, it's not about that. It's about just what the film is. And it was on the nose. So I think, you know, Flower of Hope is a good name. I was even thinking, I was like, maybe I'll change the word hope to a different language. And I did. I already forgot the one that I came up with, but I was like, ooh, if that doesn't work, I'll name my child that, or something like that. But yeah, no, I was like, we're doing too much. We're complicating it. It's not supposed to be complicated. It was never supposed to be complicated. So I wanted to keep it as short, sweet, and simple as possible with the film, the creation, the entire thing of it. So that's why I was like, Flower of Hope is nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
Thank you.
So you got your first festival in California, so congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got into his first festival. Yeah, it's called New Media Film Festival. It will be showing June 5th. I think that falls on a Thursday in LA. And pretty proud, actually. I didn't even know of this festival until I was searching for it. Well, I don't know of a lot of festivals because I'm a first-time director, right? So I don't know until I'm looking through them, or when we were submitting our films for Behind Closed Doors. But it kind of sparked an idea in what it means to new media, right? Which is, I think, the kind of like what they're doing now on YouTube and posting kind of all these videos. So I guess it kind of does fall into that category. I feel like it does. And I was like, okay, that's good. Again, you know, open to interpretation. And I was like, okay, it's interesting to see how people see the film. So that will be showing in LA, and I will be going, of course, because it's his first festival. I gotta, you know, support my baby.
Salud
Thank
to
you.
that.
Salud for that. Thank you. But yeah, it is. I did submit it to other ones, and I'm just waiting on the responses and stuff like that. And there are probably opportunities to show it here in Vegas, in collaboration with other films. I think that they're also showing. So I'm thinking of maybe putting it out there, if just kind of for people here in Las Vegas. Yeah, for people to see it. Because there's one thing I hate is the building it up, and then if like, what if they're like, oh, it's not what I thought. I'm like, oh yeah. So I don't like to do all that.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of Behind Closed Doors, you finally released it.
Yes.
What was your, like, I guess the feedback or the impression, like how did it feel after it's finally out?
Honestly, it was like a finally, like a breath. When it premiered, was it like 2 years ago or a year ago? I can't remember. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years, because then this year I released it.
Yeah, exactly. It was premiered at the 49-hour festival, and it was surreal to be able to see. So I was all the way in the back, and I didn't know what the reactions were. I
Yeah.
did see one, or if not two, maybe people like walk out because they said they can't take
Can't handle it.
they couldn't handle the strong scenes, and I
Yeah.
understood. And it did trigger a couple of my friends, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but I did forewarn them. And then afterward, the Breathe Again music video played. So it was all like amazing to be. I was like, oh my God, that's my entire face up there. So that was a lot. But to have it out and just to finally have people, see it and hopefully resonate with it for the people that have gone through something like that. I can't say that I've spoken to many women about it. I do know that it's close to home, and I know who it does resonate within my family. And I learned through the premiere of it that it's also triggered some of my friends as well, which I did not know.
No.
And I don't know. I'm very proud of that film. I can always say that was like our first baby, even though it was your film, and I was like involved with everything of it.
Yeah, no.
And it was it feels great to finally have it out, and hopefully it can help someone, and it always be there. So sometimes once in a while I do go back. Yeah, sometimes I do go back and I watch it.
Yeah.
And I will be like, man, I was like, what an asshole. Like, why do you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be so mean, right? Shout out to Ray. I know I saw his podcast too, that he was here not that long ago. I'm happy it's out, but I don't know what you said that you mentioned.
Yeah, I got a lot of reaction. I got feedbacks from a lot of women that was their favorite short from the anthology.
Yeah.
And a lot of them liked your personal, like they see like, your acting and just like the way you were able to like escape, and then at the end you're kind of like telling your story for other women or other people in general to see, like, I guess to give hope, and then just to see that there's an alternative, or there's people out there that they can relate to. But yeah, a lot of like female friends, and even like they told me that was their favorite. So
that was their favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes I mean, it makes me happy because it was, like I said, it was a lot of dedication to that film, and I'm glad that it's getting to people, and that's honestly why we do what we do, right? Is to be able to make people, at least I do, when somebody asks me, why do you act? And I say, because I want to make people feel. I want to hoping that they see themselves represented on TV. I know I didn't necessarily see myself represented on TV growing up. I mean, short of Salma Hayek, but who looks like Salma Hayek? I mean, honestly. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's funny. So you were talking about your mom earlier, and like when I first met your mom, she was like, oh, like she was like mad at me.
Oh, she'll always do that to anybody.
I guess she saw the makeup on you and stuff.
Oh yeah, my mom. So. Yeah, every time she sees something I've done and I'm beat up or killed, or this is what I mean. I get it. It's my mother. She's like, why do I always have to see my child like killed or like beaten up on film? Yeah, like something that mothers never want to imagine, for their child, and she sees it, and I'm just like, so every time, like, she couldn't see for a while behind closed doors. Wow. She would cry a lot.
Oh my God.
She would just be in tears, and I'm like, oh, Mom, and then now she's like, if she sees a scene where Ray's beating me up, they'll be like, send him to me. Oh my God. Like she's got, I will beat him. It's like, oh, Mom. So yeah, she will always do that. So when I showed it to my father and my brother, so siblings is a little different. I feel my brother didn't, even from the beginning, he couldn't, as soon as he saw our feet by the bed, he just walked away. I'm like, nothing's happened. Like, nothing's happened. He couldn't even fathom like that,
right.
And I was like, you're missing really important key things that are like being said right now. And he didn't see that part. So when he came back and finished watching the film, and then at the end, he's like, so she tricked him. She tricked him. I'm like, no, you just missed the important parts. Like, you walked away.
Yeah.
And when I showed him Flower of Hope, there's a scene in the car, and a very romantic, kind of intimate scene with Ash, and he was saying something, and then as soon as that scene came on, he stopped talking. He's like he was he didn't expect to see that, and I know that he was about to walk away, but I think he remembered from last time. And I said, you have to separate your sister and me as the artist. You're seeing art right now. You're seeing
Right.
like what it is to be that. And I told him that because I don't, if I do create something else in the future, and I will never create something I'm not proud of, right? I will never put myself in a light that is not something that violates my moral values or
Right.
anything like that, because I know my nephews want to see me. They always want to see the stuff I do. So I don't want to put anything out there that, I might not be proud of, and they will be ashamed of one day. But anyway, I say that because I'm very mindful of, like I said, the things and roles that I accept, and I want my family to also understand, separate the artist with the family member, because this is what it means to do that. My dad, though, on the other hand, he was like, he didn't even blink twice at all. And if anything, when the whole when the fighting was happening and behind closed door, he was like, yeah, that's right. I was like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, you're, anyway, yeah. So my dad has no problem seeing any kind of like gory or anything like that. Nothing shocks him. Nothing of mine, at least, shocks him. So at least is appreciated, that I can show it to my family and be proud of the things I do. So
That's cool. So, are you gonna direct again? What's your plan? I know you're like, this was like a big thing, but
yeah. So
what you got going on?
So, as you mentioned earlier, like, now I'm a writer, right? So I've written a lot, and have many scripts somewhere in my house, and it's like, how do you know you're an actor? As you see scripts everywhere or whatever. And some of those stories, I do want to make them come to life. I really do. And I have ideas of how and when and who I would want to, help me with it. I do actually think that I do want to direct again, but not alone. Because this was, again, the short film is kind of like, I want to say, easy in this aspect of it just kind of came from my head, and I said, okay, we didn't even have like a shot list. But the next one I do want to do properly, I do want to be doing it with somebody that has skills, that has experience, because I don't know
Like
how
technical stuff.
I don't know a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm just kind of like doing it by the edge of my seat, and this is fun, But there's a lot of things I think that other experienced directors will see that I don't. So the next project I do direct, I want to co-direct it with somebody, and of course behind the camera as well.
In front of camera.
In front of the camera, excuse me, yes, because I first and foremost, I'm always an actress first. I believe that's just what I love to do, even if I do stuff behind the scenes. And if I can, I want to make those come to life. When? I don't know. I want to think maybe this year, but I'm going to be shooting a film soon in May.
Nice.
And thank you. And then from there, I'm still with trying to make the music video for Soaring Higher.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
those are little things that just been a long time coming that I do want to make them just finally come true. But if all goes well and according to plan, I can maybe do a little bit more things action-wise, stunt-wise. So my next thing that I wanted to direct would be a scene that I wrote, action, and that's a little bit more on the complicated side. So even though it's a scene and not a short film, I want to co-direct that and leave it open in the way where if people like the scene, maybe even write the actual short story around it, because I really like it.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's
cool.
kind of like what I'm thinking along the lines of. And then after that, after I co-directed the first few short films and maybe do one of my own. But I don't know. We'll see.
I thought you were gonna say behind closed doors too, and I was gonna be like, no.
You know, every time we get on here, I always try to like say, I will convince you one day, because I have a good synopsis of behind closed doors too, and I haven't let go of that idea. I haven't, but I'm just kind of like letting time pass by, because he's gonna get the bug again.
We'll see,
and we will. And Ray's moving back to Las Vegas, so we can certainly use him. I'm just saying, I think it's a good idea, and I would appreciate all the audience support on this.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Salud.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya. Bye.